Welcome students. Today we are going to do Science 1, Chapter 1, Gravitation. But students, before I'd like to request you do subscribe my channel which is given on the screen. Before starting this chapter, I'd like to tell about force. So students, you might be knowing about force, the types of forces and the effects of forces. So here the very important force which we are going to study in this chapter is the gravitational force. So students, in previous standard, that is the 9th standard, gravitational force is the universal force which acts between the two objects. So suppose this is M1 object and this is M2 object. So it acts between them. So there is a force of attraction between mass M1 and mass M2. So we can say that there is a force of attraction between myself and the other guy, between one object then the other object, and we also can say that there is a force exists between the earth and the other planets, the earth and the other object in the universe. So hence it is called as the universal force. So this phenomenon of gravitation was discovered by Sir Isaac Newton. We all know this scientist very well. This scientist is very much famous. We already know about him. So Sir Isaac Newton one day was sitting under a tree and he discovered that apple fall on the ground. So immediately he started thinking, so what would be is there any force between the apple and the earth? So he started thinking. So due to this he discovered a force, that is gravitational force. Now students, this force has some direction and that direction is vertically towards the center of the earth. Vertically towards the center of the earth, students. Now why not making an angle with this vertical line that is towards the center of the earth? Because ऐसे क्यों नहीं गिरता है एप्पल? It might not be possible because other forces are also acting. If there is, अगर समझो कि बहुत जोर से हवा आ रही है तो एप्पल थोड़ा सा बाजू में गिर सकता है दोस्तों, राइट? But here we are neglecting that force, air force, we are neglecting it, and we are only talking about gravitational force. So this apple which is on the tree has fallen on the ground, and if we see that this force is directed toward the center of the earth, but not making an angle with this vertical line. So now this vertical force which is toward the center of the earth, and this is the ground. So it makes a perpendicular angle. It's make a 90-degree angle between the surface of the earth and the vertical line. So he came to a conclusion that the earth must be attracting the apple toward itself, and this force he named it as a gravitational force which is directed towards the center of the earth. Now student, one thing I'd like to explain you, that is apart from this but it is related to this. Suppose I'm staying here, my 25 floor building is this, and suppose someone is staying here, so his building will be in this direction. Now suppose someone is staying here, so his building will be in this direction. तो ये जो आपका 25th जो फ्लोर है, why can't it fall down in the space? So student, there is a reason behind this, that is, yes, it is a gravitational force. So suppose this 25th floor has fallen, so it will directly fall on the ground, and it will be again directed towards the center of the earth. Yes, again this building is also directed towards the center of the earth. Every object is directed towards the center of the earth, friends. Further, he also thought that this apple is much closer to the ground, so apple is attracted towards the ground, and irrespective of the height, this apple will also fall vertically downwards on the ground. So he thought that if this force is acting irrespective of the height, whether this force also acts on the other objects in the universe. What do you think, students? Yes, this gravitational force acts also on the other objects, on the other planets, whatever on the earth, outside the earth, the whole everything is directed towards the center of the earth, we can say. But why not that object come close to the earth? Because this gravitational force is very weak as the height increases, as the height moves. Now we know that, students, the moon is the natural satellite of the earth, right? Yes. So moon is around 382,000 kilometers away from the earth, and we know that the gravitational force on the moon is 1/6 that of the earth. That means जो मून के ऊपर जो ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स है, जो गुरुत्वाकर्षण है, वो बहुत ही कम है एज कम्पेयर टू दैट ऑफ द अर्थ. तो आपको पता है कि मून के ऊपर इसलिए हम लोगों को हॉपिंग करना पड़ता है. वी हैव टू हॉप, देन ओनली वी फील मच बेटर इंस्टेड ऑफ वॉकिंग. यस, हमें हम चलेंगे तो हमें थोड़ी सी तकलीफ होगी, तो हमें वहाँ पर हॉप करना पड़ता है. बट द ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स ऑन द सरफेस ऑफ द अर्थ is maximum, so we have to walk, and when we climb the stairs, we find it very difficult. But when we come down from the 25th floor to suppose 22nd floor, we feel very easy, because gravitational force helps us to come down very easily. But when we move away from the gravitational force, we find it very difficult, students. Moving on to next topic, that is force and motion. So students, force and motion are related to each other. The force is necessary to change the speed of the object, change the direction of the object, and to change the speed as well as direction of the object. So force जो है वो किसी ऑब्जेक्ट का स्पीड चेंज करने के लिए नेसेसरी होता है, और उसकी दिशा भी चेंज करने के लिए नेसेसरी होता है, और उसकी गति और दिशा दोनों को चेंज करने के लिए नेसेसरी होता है. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, अंडरस्टूड? वी हैव स्टडीड न्यूटन्स लॉ ऑफ मोशन, न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ मोशन, न्यूटन्स सेकंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन, न्यूटन्स थर्ड लॉ ऑफ मोशन. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू गो इट इन डिटेल्स. So moving on to next topic, that is centripetal force and circular motion. So new topic is our circular motion and centripetal force. This is our new topic, students. So for this we are going to do an activity. So let's see what is that activity. You can try this activity at home. Tie a string to a stone. Now I am tying one end of the string to the stone. So hold the other end of the string in a hand and try to rotate along the circle. Now you can see, student, in this manner. Now you can see that the stone is rotating in a circular path. So this kind of motion is called as circular motion. When an object moves along the circle, then we say that the motion is a circular motion. We can see this figure 1.2 which is given along the textbook. So one thing I would like to ask question, that what do you feel that you are applying any kind of force on the stone? So answer to this is yes, we are applying a force on the stone, because we can see that this stone is directed towards the center of the circle. That means it is center seeking. Students, please remember, please pay attention that it is center seeking. The second question is that in which direction is this force acting? Or this force is acting towards the center. And now will you stop this force from acting? Yes, if we release the stone, then only this force will be stopped. And the last question is, what will be the effect on the stone? The effect on the stone will be, the stone will move tangentially from the position where it has been released. We can see this figure, that this is the position of the stone and this is the string, and this person is holding the string in his hand. We can see that at this position the stone will move tangentially. It will make a 90-degree angle and it will move tangentially from the position where it has been released. तो ये स्टोन जो है आपका ये इस तरह से जाएगा. We see that as long as we are holding the string, we are pulling the stone towards the center of the circle. Okay. And this force is center seeking. Now what happens if the force is stopped? As soon as the force stops acting, we have already discussed that the stone will get move away tangentially from the position of the stone when the string is released. And at this time the velocity also changes, because velocity depends on the direction. As soon as the direction changes, velocity also changes. Now one more thing is that the definition of the centripetal force is, whenever a force acts on the object or any object moving along a circle, and this force when directed toward the center of the circle, so this is called the centripetal force. Now here again I told you earlier that centripetal means center seeking. Centripetal means center seeking. We have already seen that the moon is a natural satellite of the earth and it's rotate around the earth in a specific definite orbit. The direction of the motion as well as the speed of the moon is constantly changing. So we can say that the other planets in the solar system also revolves in the same pattern. We can say that the sun exerts the gravitational force on the other planets is much more higher than the one planet exerts on the other planet. Okay, for the moon to go around the earth, there must be a force which must be exerted by the earth on the moon towards its center, right? So students, now moving on to page number 3, Kepler's law we are going to study now. So planetary motions of the planets has been observed by many of the astronomers. Before Galileo, position of the planet was also observed with their naked eyes. So now till 16th century, a lot of data has been available for the famous scientist, that is Johannes Kepler, and he studied this data and he gave his 3 laws, that is called as a Kepler's law. Describing planetary motions. So now before moving to Kepler's 3 laws, first of all we have to know about the ellipse. What is ellipse? So I will draw a diagram on the board. So this diagram we call it as ellipse. It is not a circle. Suppose we are using computer graphics. So we draw a circle and suppose we stretch it on the side way, then that figure is called as an ellipse. Okay. So this we can call it as a ellipse. Okay, so this is ellipse. Now how ellipse is obtained? Basically we obtain this ellipse by cutting a cone in an inclined plane. So this part after cutting, to this part, if we remove this part, so we see that this part is the ellipse. Now suppose it has two focal points, F1 and F2, and suppose there are points A, B and suppose C on the ellipse. Now the distance, one thing is very important here, the sum of the distances to the two focal points from the points on the ellipse should be constant, it is same. Okay, so now what does this mean? BF1 plus BF2, AF1 plus AF2 and CF1 plus CF2. So this AF1 plus AF2 is equal to BF1 plus BF2 is equal to CF1 plus CF2. तो सपोज स्टूडेंट्स आपको अगर कुछ इसमें ज़्यादा कुछ समझ में नहीं आया है तो यू कैन रिवाइंड एंड यू कैन जस्ट लिसन इट केयरफुली. अदरवाइज this much is very easy to understand that AF1 plus AF2 is equal to BF1 plus BF2 is equal to CF1 plus CF2. Now we know the diagram of ellipse. Now we are going to take Kepler's three laws. Figure number 1.4 is given. I have drawn this on the board, but this diagram is incomplete. Let me first describe what the diagram is. Instead of we know the circle, we can see the center. We know the center, and suppose there is a point of the circle. And same way, this is an ellipse. I have described what is ellipse. Ellipse क्या होता है मैंने आपको अभी बताया है. तो suppose S is the sun and this is one of the foci. तो मैंने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले जो डायग्राम बताया तो उसमें F2, तो sun जो है F2 पोजीशन पे है अभी फिलहाल, and A is the planet. A is the planet and B is the position of the planet after some time. So the time taken by the planet A to come to position B. Okay, तो A से B तक जाने के लिए जो टाइम लिया गया है, the same time is taken by the same planet to come from C to D, and again the same time is taken by the planet to come from position E to F. Understood? Now we can see that time interval of this planet from A to B, C to D and E to F is same. टाइम इंटरवल सेम है. यहाँ से आने के लिए जितना टाइम लगा, सपोज 365 दिन लगे, तो यहाँ पर भी 365 दिन लगा, यहाँ पर भी 365 दिन लगा. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो टाइम इज इक्वल नाउ. वन मोर थिंग इज दैट नाउ सन इज एट द फोकस, right? Sun is at the focus and this planet is revolving in an elliptical orbit around the sun. This planet A is revolving in an elliptical orbit around the sun. Now from this we can say that we can now describe straight Kepler's first law. So Kepler's first law is the orbit of a planet. Now this is the orbit, right? So this orbit of a planet is an ellipse with the sun at one of the foci. Kepler's first law states that the orbit of a planet is an ellipse with the sun at one of the foci. The orbit of a planet is an ellipse. Which shape it is? Ellipse with the sun at one of the foci. So move on to Kepler's second law. Kepler's second law states, it states that the line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal interval of time. I have explained you first of all that the time taken by the planet A to reach B and the same planet to reach from C to D and from E to F are same. So time taken by them is same, but it also sweeps equal areas. Now suppose we have a doubt that this area is greater than this or this, this is the smallest area. So you may feel that because this figure is an ellipse, but the area swept by the planet A to the position B is equal to same area swept by the planet A in moving from C to D, that is area number 2, and same planet moving from position E to F, that is area number 3. All these areas are same, though the distance covered from here to here, यहाँ से यहाँ जाने के लिए आपको लग रहा है कि ज़्यादा डिस्टेंस कवर किया है, C to D जाने के लिए प्लैनेट ने कम डिस्टेंस कवर किया है, और उससे भी कम डिस्टेंस E to F आने के लिए उसने कवर किया है. बट ऑल 3 केसेस में आपको पता है कि टाइम इंटरवल इज सेम, बट देन ऑल्सो द एरिया स्वेप्ट इज सेम. दैट मीन्स द एरियाज आर इक्वल. टाइम सेम है, डिस्टेंस आपको लग रहा है कि ए बी ज़्यादा है, सी डी कम है, ई एफ तो उससे भी कम है, बट देन ऑल्सो द एरिया इज सेम. तो यही तो एक सबसे बड़ी बात है इस लॉ के बारे में कि द प्लैनेट एंड द सन स्वीप्स इक्वल एरियाज इन इक्वल इंटरवल ऑफ टाइम. अभी हम देखेंगे कि ये जो एरिया जो कवर हो रहा है यहाँ पर, दैट इज एरिया बी एस ए इज इक्वल टू एरिया सी एस डी, and that is also equal to area ESF. So this is about Kepler's second law. Now we are going to see Kepler's third law.
Start.
So before Kepler's third law, one thing I would like to say that the T is the time period taken by the planet. T जो है time period लेंगे. Suppose planet A जो है वो घूम कर वापस वहीं पर आता है, एंड इट टेक सपोज 365 डेज टू कंप्लीट 1 रिवॉल्यूशन अराउंड द सन. एंड आर हम लोग लेने वाले हैं. टी इज द पीरियड ऑफ रिवॉल्यूशन अराउंड द सन. एंड व्हाट इज आर? आर इज द मीन डिस्टेंस ऑफ अ प्लैनेट टू द सन. मीन डिस्टेंस. अभी सपोज ये 1 किलोमीटर है. एक्चुअली स्टूडेंट्स ये 1 किलोमीटर नहीं है, बहुत बड़ा डिस्टेंस है, पर अभी समझाने के लिए मैं आपको 1 किलोमीटर ले रहा हूँ. एंड सपोज दिस इज अगेन 1 किलोमीटर, एंड दिस इज सपोज 1.5 किलोमीटर, एंड दिस इज सपोज 1.8 किलोमीटर, एंड दिस इज सपोज राउंड अबाउट 3 किलोमीटर, एंड दिस इज सपोज 3.2 किलोमीटर. तो ये सारे जो डिस्टेंसेस जो आपको यहाँ पर दिखाई दे रहे हैं, इसका आपको ऐड करके आपको इसका मीन लेना है. तो वो जो मीन आएगा, तो मीन कैसे लेते हैं आपको मालूम है. 1 + 1 + 1.5 + 1.8 + 3.0 + 3.2 डिवाइड बाय 1 2 3 4 5 6 क्वांटिटीज है. तो ये जो आपका मीन डिस्टेंस आएगा यहाँ पर, इसे कहेंगे हम मीन डिस्टेंस. विच कम्स अराउंड 1.91 किलोमीटर. देखिए हमने 1 किलोमीटर भी नहीं लिया, 1.5 भी नहीं लिया, 1.8 भी नहीं लिया, क्योंकि हमें यहाँ पर लेना है मीन ऑफ द डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम द सन टू द प्लैनेट. क्योंकि जैसे प्लैनेट मूव होता है तो उसका डिस्टेंस सन से यहाँ पर कम है, यहाँ पर ज़्यादा है, उससे और ज़्यादा है, और ज़्यादा है, तो वापस जैसे यहाँ पर आएगा कम हो जाएगा. बट वी हैव टू टेक द मीन ऑफ द डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम द सन टू द प्लैनेट. So now we can state Kepler's third law, that the square of the period of the revolution around the sun. Now what is the period of revolution? अपना period of revolution is t, and now we have to square it. The square of the period of the revolution of the planet around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of the mean of the distance. अभी मैंने आपको mean कैसे निकालने का वो कहा था, तो हम लोग उसका जगह पे r लेने वाले हैं. तो r एंड उसका क्यूब करना है, तो क्यूब ऑफ द मीन डिस्टेंस ऑफ द प्लैनेट फ्रॉम द सन. तो दिस इज केपलर्स थर्ड लॉ ऑफ प्लैनेटरी मोशंस. नाउ t स्क्वायर is equal to k r cube. We know that जब प्रोपोर्शनलिटी साइन निकलता है तो वी टेक ऑलवेज कांस्टेंट. सो हियर आई एम टेकिंग k एज अ कांस्टेंट, नॉट t स्क्वायर डिवाइड बाय r क्यूब. यहाँ पर आएगा तो इट विल बी डिवाइड बाय, सो वी गेट इट एज k एंड दिस k इज कांस्टेंट. दिस k इज कांस्टेंट. नाउ केपलर obtained these laws simply from the study of the position of the planets obtained by regular observations. तो केपलर ने ये जो लॉज ऑब्टेन किए हैं दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन द पोजिशन ऑफ द प्लैनेट एंड रेगुलर ऑब्जर्वेशन के हिसाब से. पर उन्होंने ये नहीं बताया कि वाई क्यों ये प्लैनेट्स रूल लॉ ओबे करते हैं. सो नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू सी दैट हाउ दिस केपलर्स 3 laws help Newton in the formulation of the theory of gravitation. तो ये केपलर्स के जो 3 लॉ है न्यूटन को कैसे हेल्प किए ताकि वह जो है न्यूटन्स ग्रेविटेशनल लॉ उन्होंने उसके बेस पे केपलर्स 3 लॉज के बेस पे उन्होंने एक्सप्लेन किया. विल सी लेटर ऑन.